Hey everybody, Bob Lucero from All Things Leland, and I got to tell you, I just love this story. Being the parent of a teacher, it's my pleasure to have with us today Jennie Bryan, who is running Brunswick County Schools Teacher Scholar Academy. No secret, Brunswick County, sixth fastest growing county in the United States. With that comes the need for school buildings and teachers, and Ms. Bryan's program, supported by the school system, is growing locally, local students to teach in local schools. So, Ms. Bryan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
So, let's just get to the start of it. I mean, you started your career as a teacher. You've been in Berkshire County schools for some time. I mean, what was the impetus behind beginning and growing this program?
Absolutely. So, our program is housed in our CTE or Career and Technical Education program, and the district was looking to launch this program in 2023. There were other districts across the state. Edgecombe County is one in particular. I know that I have really been a fan of for several years, and other districts across the state. We're getting their own grow your own programs
Mhm.
going, and so our CTE department in 2023, looking to expand its offerings, said, hey, there's this teaching as a profession course that has been developed statewide and has articulation agreements with several colleges and universities across the state. Let's bring that to Brunswick County schools. And then it was a matter of finding the teacher for it. So my background is actually in high school social studies.
Mhm.
That's what I taught for 12 years before switching into this lane
Mhm.
of teaching as a profession and child development and early childhood education. I had just wrapped up my time serving as the North Carolina Southeast Region Teacher of the Year in 2021. And through that experience, I just really developed this passion for teacher
Mhm.
recruitment and retention as well.
Sure.
We can't have recruitment without talking about the retention piece. Um, and I felt like I was ready for a change and a new challenge to come out of the social studies classroom and be able to lead this program that the district had a vision for. And that was I said to folks, it was my 13th year teaching, and I called it my lucky 13 that I had the opportunity to transfer
Yeah.
into this program and begin leading it. And so we just concluded our third year
Okay.
of the program. We are certainly still building and growing, but I'm excited about the work we've done so far and what we're going to be doing in the future.
So I know it's still growing, and before we began recording, you're this close to having your first group of college seniors becoming teachers. So how many students are we talking about right now?
So let's see. Gosh, I should have counted up before we
Okay.
started the interview. Um, but we have probably um, half a dozen students
Okay.
that have gone through my program and are
Okay.
currently in college pursuing education courses, working towards their teacher licensure. It's been great. Several of them have come back to be guest speakers in my class or have meted us when we've done college tours of their campuses, because I really believe an integral part of my program is to not only teach them while they're high school students, but stay connected to them
Yes.
and be just like a touch point for them while
Sure.
they're in their colleges of education. Letting them know that we Brunswick County Schools and I am still back here supporting them and rooting for them, and want to support them as best we know how. For example, one of our students, she will be a junior at NC State University. She's majoring in middle grade social
Okay.
studies and hopes to specialize in ESL.
Okay.
She actually interviewed our district's ESL coordinator for
Okay.
a college assignment that she had. So that's been really fun as well. I got a message from a student who had questions about course registration, and so to still be able to stay connected with those students while they're in college. um, Hopefully some of them will be able to do some student teaching with us here in Brunswick County schools and then come back into one of our classrooms one day.
So if I'm a student in this program, I mean, what is the day of that student look like in terms of their going into a classroom or
Sure.
working with
Absolutely.
local teachers to understand what it takes.
Yeah, so just a little bit about how the program works. So we are fortunate enough to be housed at the coast, which serves as a CTE hub for our
Sure.
district. So students from any of the other high schools, public high schools in the district, can come to the coast for half a day to take courses, and then there are some students who stay there for the full day to take courses. But students generally start with me. They have to be at least sophomores, and they have to
Okay.
have a 2.5 GPA. And part of that relates to the articulation agreements we have with colleges and universities. But students will come to me for teaching as a profession one.
Okay.
And in that course, we're looking at the history of public education. We're looking at education philosophies. We're looking at how schools are governed and funded. And we also begin doing some classroom observations. So I try to take the students out to do at least 4 days of observing, typically 1 or 2 days in an elementary school, a day at a middle school.
Okay.
And we typically don't do high school observations unless they're going from a traditional high school to look at the early college, or even
Okay.
observing in our classrooms at the coast, since it's a bit of a unique model. Um, and then typically from there, or while they're taking that course, they're also taking a child development course with me that I teach as well, where we really can dig into some developmental psychology and things of that nature. And then we have the level 2 course, Teaching as a Profession 2, which is really where we get into lesson planning, instructional design, classroom management, supporting diverse learners.
Hmm.
And in that course, they are concurrently doing a field experience. So
Okay.
they come to me typically for about 2, sometimes 3 days a week for a 3-hour block. And then the other days, they are placed in a Brunswick County Schools classroom with a cooperating teacher.
Okay.
They're required to get 120 hours of field experience.
Okay.
And that, I think, is the keystone of the program,
Sure.
right? Getting that much classroom time, getting that
Hmm.
much hands-on time, studying under a cooperating teacher who's working with students at either the grade level or their subject area that they think they want to go into one day. That's always the highlight of the program, as it should be,
Sure.
as it should be. Um, One of the sometimes criticisms of an education prep program at college is, sometimes you don't get a lot of that hands-on experience until, your end of junior or into your
Sure.
senior year. And by that time, your ticket's kind of already been punched. And turns
Yeah.
out if you're not really thrilled with being a teacher, well, gosh, like, unfortunately, I hear stories all too often about people getting to their student teaching and then deciding it's not
Right.
for them.
They spend a lot of time and money to find out that's not something that they want to do. I mean, in your experience, I mean, obviously the program has only started 3 years ago. I mean,
Right.
what has been the level of interest from students in Brunswick County schools in pursuing this career?
Yeah, so it's definitely growing.
Mm.
Word is getting out. We do a lot of work to inform students of our
Sure.
program. Every February, or at least for the past 2 years, we have hosted a kind of a pathway day where we invite colleges of education to come and talk to our students about their programs. I show them around the coast. They get to understand what the coast is, because I
Hmm.
do think while it's a blessing that we're located at the coast, it does take a little bit of extra motivation for a student to be willing to leave their base campus
Okay.
during their time and come to us. We had, for example, in my program this year, I had 18 total TAP 1 students. Um, and this coming year, I believe I already have 30 registered for TAP
Wow.
1. So yeah, we're definitely seeing that growth. And I know that not every student who goes through my program is going to end up in a classroom one day,
Sure.
and that's okay, because I know that they are going to be taxpayers.
Mhm.
They're likely going to be parents, and I hope that they'll be voters. And I do think that the bigger view of public education and learning a little bit more about how things work behind the scenes from the teacher and administrative side of things, not just the student side of things,
Sure.
I do think that will really serve them well. And yeah,
I think
um,
one of the unique things about your program too is that there is some scholarship funding to help kids in their college journey with a commitment to come back,
Yes,
obviously, to Brunswick County schools. Can you talk a little bit about that and
absolutely.
success that you've seen with, for some folks, college is a stretch financially, etc.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So, our district has as part of its strategic plan to um, develop a grow your own program and to work towards hiring individuals who were Brunswick County school students. And so they have our Board of Education has illustrated that commitment through locally funding some scholarships. And for the past 3 years, we've been able to award about $150,000 in local scholarships, and again, like you said, in exchange for receiving that scholarship, they come back and they teach in the district. So it works out being for every $2,500 of aid a student might receive, they're going to teach in the district for a year. It's modeled on a North Carolina Teaching Fellows program. That's kind of the inspiration for it. And so we have had some students who've not only received the North Carolina Teaching Fellows scholarship, but then been able to stack onto it as well the Brunswick Built
That's nice.
Scholarship.
That's
Yeah.
really nice. That helps out again a lot of folks for kids who may be in need. I mean, one of the other interesting segues to this program that you all have developed is the early childhood
Yes.
credentialing because early childhood teaching, that's where my daughter started, is just as important as being in a grammar school or middle school or high school. So perhaps you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the when I started the teaching as a profession program, I knew we needed a kind of a partner course, so students could take 2 classes when they came to the coast, in addition to teaching as a profession one. So, child development, we started with that. And then, as part of the CTE curriculum, there is a pathway out of child development directly into early childhood education one, which again is another course that students can not only get articulated community college credit for, but they can also earn their North Carolina Early Childhood Education Credential, which in many of our licensed daycare centers is what's required of all of their lead teachers. So not only are students, getting high school credit,
Mhm.
which is an honors credit, by the way.
Yes.
All of
Okay.
these courses are honors credits, earning college credit, but then getting a credential that they could potentially go straight to work after graduating. And that is the pathway that some of our students will choose. And I'm just grateful that we can give them, that open up that pathway for them. But this past year was the first year that we offered the early childhood education. Like teaching as a profession, that course also requires an internship. So we
Okay.
place students, 7 students down in Charlotte at 4 Kids Only. Brunswick
Okay.
County Schools has had a strong partnership with that program for several years. And then we also placed a couple of students at Town Creek Elementary School in their EC PreK classroom.
Okay.
So those students in that program are really, again, focused on birth through 5. There is such a need for strong and high quality early childhood education everywhere, but in Brunswick County in particular.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see it even in neighborhoods like mine where it's an older population. You are starting to see people with baby carriages and kids on bikes. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
people are coming, and
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, they're building a brand new daycare early childhood center outside of our neighborhood. So there obviously needs to be teachers. So what you're saying is that these students who are in this credential could leave high school and teach right away in an early
Correct.
childhood. Okay.
Correct. Various centers might have different requirements, but in
Okay.
terms of what the licensed daycare centers that are licensed by the state,
Okay.
their basic requirement is this EDU 119
Okay.
course at a community college, which is
Okay.
the same as what we're offering at the high school there, the coast.
That's great. I want to thank you for your time. I know school is out, and so you're doing this on your own time. It's very much appreciated. For those folks out there who are interested in the blog, I will include a couple of links, especially if you
That'd be
know
great.
students who are interested in the becoming teachers and also a link to the application for the scholarship program. It doesn't open until now in January of next year, from what I
Right,
understand.
right. Yeah. So, but
But
I'm
you know what?
always happy to talk about this program. And so I appreciate you giving us the platform to do that with.
You're welcome, and you have a great day.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you.